Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. My name's Chad. Take a dive on sports, and welcome to now going to be a kind of a weekly update thing of the NHL as the regular season starts to dwindle down. The teams getting eliminated, teams are clinching, the races are getting a little tighter. Some teams are kind of underperforming, some teams are performing well, and we kind of look at the aspects of the possible matchups right now as it stands, and then some other key things are be coming up here momentarily. But before I dive in all that action, if you could go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me, give me a like, especially like the contact provides you. Really please do two guys, help us promote the channel out. You also subscribe. A lot of you guys review my work. I love you all for doing that. I mean, if you subscribe, it doesn't cost you a dime. It helps me provide more entertainment value for you. Now, we kind of look at this, the Eastern Conference. I pretty much said for a while that the East is pretty much set in place. Right now, it's only two teams that have not been eliminated as of yet. It has a very slim short chance of making it. That's the Islanders and Blue Jackets. Islanders pretty much here, 75 points. Jackets at 74, and the closest team they got to them is Washington in their division, and then Boston overall, and not to mention Pittsburgh in their division. Well, Boston's at 95, Pittsburgh's at 94, Washington's at 90. So there's a huge gap between Washington and the Islanders. So unfortunately, I'm just going to just eliminate those two teams out, even though mathematically they're still in, but they have less than the 1% chance of getting in. Columbus is just two more games, and they're out. Islanders have 7 more games before they're eliminated. So for them, I kind of see that going the wrong direction. Now, in terms of the races themselves for the division, just right now, in the Atlantic, it's Florida leading the charge to take the Atlantic crown, and number 1 seed in the East. They have 8-point advantage over Toronto, another monster team that looks like they're going to make a nice run in the playoffs on paper. Tampa Bay is starting to struggle a little bit, so they could find themselves outside of the top 3 and be a wild card team, because Boston right now is nipping at their heels. So they're going to have to watch out very closely, otherwise they're going to find themselves on the outside looking in, not having a home ice advantage. Actually, they're going to have home ice advantage anyways, got to take on Toronto, but maybe they go into the wild card and go decide, you know what, I'll take on the Metropolitan Division leader, Carolina Hurricanes. But right now they have a 2-point advantage over the New York Rangers, so that Metropolitan Division crown, number 1 for that bracket, still up in the air. Both Carolina and the Rangers have clinched. The same thing with the Toronto and Florida, by the way. All 4 of those clubs have already clinched. Just positions who wins the division, who gets the number 1 seed. Pittsburgh right now is at 94. Just recently, they snapped a 4-game losing streak, by finally beating, having an overtime winner against the Nashville Predators. That was a very lucky goal for them. Weird angle for Sidney Crosby to hit it, but he put it in behind the net. And they have a 4-point advantage right now over the Caps for that number 3 seed in the Met, and that form not to be that wild card number 2. Because right now that's where Washington sits at, so that means they have to take on Florida right away, and I don't think it'll be a good matchup. Because if you look at the current standings, the Panthers would get the number 2 in the wild card, which is the Capitals, and then Toronto and Tampa Bay will square off. And then you have Carolina taking on Boston as the other number 1 wild card. And then the Rangers and Penguins square off. So those matchups look amazing. And unfortunately, 4 quality teams will find themselves outside looking in after the first round has been completed. Now we'll head out west, where things are getting a little more interesting. Right now, Colorado has clinched their berth. They're at 110 points right now. They're the front runners to win the President's Trophy, but Florida's nipping at their heels. They're just looking to be the team that's just on. Look like they're going to lift the Stanley Cup. Of course, they look like that for the past couple of seasons and haven't done it yet, so maybe this is the year. And on their side, in the Pacific, right now, Calgary still has the lead out there by 7 points over their provincial rival, Edmonton. We'll see how things are kind of going with them. Going back to the Central, Minnesota and St. Louis are now tied for second place. They have 94 points each. But Minnesota has one more game than St. Louis, so they'll probably maybe end up edging them out. So we'll see kind of how they do that. I know on Sunday when the Wild played the Kings, it was just a wild game, and the Wild just went wild. How many times I can say wild in a wild conversation? I'm sorry, I'll stop. But yeah, they didn't look very good in the beginning because LA ended up going up on them 3-0 early, and then just nothing but Minnesota after that. So there's definitely one of these teams you do not count out. They will battle back, and they will smack you in the mouth, basically. In terms of then going back, I'm sorry I'm going back and forth between these two, but out on the Pacific, Edmonton, I think is pretty much locked at number 2 with 90 points. But with their 9 games remaining, I don't think they have enough to catch Calgary, but they will definitely make Calgary play in the postseason, or pay in the postseason. I don't know if I said pay or play, but either way, Edmonton I think is going to be definitely one to watch out for, especially if they can shed their inability to culminate their regular season success for the postseason. The Kings right now are starting to slip a bit, and they're get 86 points. They're 2-point advantage over Vegas for that wild card position, or the number 3 in the Pacific. But for that crazy West right now, the Nashville is your number 1 wild card at 87 points, followed by Dallas with 86. Then you have Vegas sitting there at 84, Vancouver at 80, Winnipeg at 79. Now, the Ducks have been eliminated at 70, but the Sharks have not. They're sitting at 67, partly because they have 11 games left. But I'll go ahead and just wipe out San Jose altogether. They don't have really much of a chance to really get in there. Winnipeg is less than 1% chance, so they might put up a good fight towards the end, but just fall flat. San Jose, like I said, San Jose, you can pretty much wipe off. Vancouver's at 9%. So really, I think the race is between Vegas getting in there, trying to sneak in, either in Pacific number 3 or trying to get in as a wild card. And between Dallas and Nashville to really get in there as a wild card. So those are some of the things that are kind of playing out right there. And so you kind of going to look at see how some of these guys are going to try to present themselves in a better light and try to continue on in their trajectory to get in the postseason. Because once you get in the postseason, it's a totally different hockey. Anything that's done in the regular season, you can toss out the window. And right now, the teams that you really have to watch out for, like I said, it's Florida and Colorado right now, the top 2 dogs. But I think St. Louis is starting to come on strong again. They've recently just won 5 in a row. As well as Calgary, who's starting to make that push to take the Pacific Crown. So it'll be interesting to see how these games play out for the remainder of the season. They've still got some live key matchups. Like I said, average about 10 games per team still left. So still playing hockey, still to transpire, but some of the key matchups coming out with huge playoff implications on April 12th is the Hurricanes visiting the Rangers. That's pretty much going to be a huge statement to who's going to be leading the Met. The Penguins visiting the Islanders. Another one, trying to see the Islanders can keep on pace and see if they can continue Pittsburgh's woes. Edmonton, Minnesota could be a future playoff matchup. Tampa Bay and Dallas looks like it'll be interesting. This is just for Tuesday the 12th. Then you look at Wednesday, April 13th. Again, you look out for be LA visiting Colorado. April 14th. Washington visiting Toronto. The Isles visiting Pittsburgh. Edmonton at Nashville. Minnesota at Dallas. Vegas at Calgary. I mean, those are some huge matchups that Friday. Florida, Winnipeg will be an interesting matchup. Saturday hockey, full slate of games. Led off by Pittsburgh and Boston. And then Minnesota, St. Louis. Vegas at Edmonton. Toronto at Ottawa. Even though Ottawa has nothing to play for, but Ottawa seems to do very, very well against teams. Be a good spoiler. Winnipeg at Tampa Bay. I think this is probably Winnipeg's swan song if they can't win that one. But Tampa Bay has been playing kind of bad lately, so they really need to right their ship. Let's see, San Jose at Dallas, and then a possible final matchup, Carolina at Colorado. I mean, that would be interesting to see those two go at it. Then on Sunday, the big one would be St. Louis at Nashville, and the Islanders visiting the Leafs. So that right there kind of gives you a pinpoint of some of the key matchups coming up and where things are kind of going. But this upcoming week of NHL games, we have some really great matchups, possible playoff matchups, playoff elimination matchups. I mean, there's a lot of great hockey coming on this week. Like I said, this is the great time to really, really watch NHL. If you don't watch it already for regular all of this, but the fight towards the end is always the really best. You really see the teams really go full tilt. You see more emotions, really. I've seen quite a few, especially the Pittsburgh, Nashville, and the Minnesota, LA game. There's a lot more fights. But anyways, that's my quick update of the NHL as some more teams clinch, and a little time to really tell to see how this really transpires and where we go from here. And just leave down comments down below. Is your favorite from the beginning of the season still in? Like I said, when my preseason Stanley Cup victor was Boston. Now it's before the whole. I thought Tuukka Rask would come back. They hasn't come back, but they didn't need him, which is kind of shocking. They have rallied around that and really move forward. I think for me, this is going to be like Boston's last hurrah. I think after that, you start seeing the team really break apart. I know Colorado is a favorite across the league. I know Florida is a favorite. Tampa Bay still has a lot of people really rooting for them. I think Carolina has a shot. I wouldn't really put it past Edmonton making or Toronto making a run and maybe making an all-Canadian final. We haven't had one of those in forever. So, but hey, just let me know down below where there you go. Once again, you hit that thumbs up. You can also share with your friends or family. It really helps the algorithm out. And once you subscribe, you hit that bell notification. Let you know next time I post a video. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.